Want to get it into the hands of Kawhi Leonard. 6 seconds remaining. Leonard, back up Van Fleet. Van Fleet kicks it out Lowry. Lowry for the win. Won't go. And there'll be a game 6 in Oakland.
Welcome back into Way Off, your weekly dose of everything sport, a little society, and a crap ton of foolishness for the sports novice and the sports junkie alike. I'm Dominique in all my wrinkled shirt glory, but don't pay too much attention to that because I want to let you know that the Warriors are going to win the 2019 NBA Finals. I don't care if they're down 3-2. I don't care if they were down 3-1. Now, how is that possible? Well, I'm going to take you to school. I like that little segue. That was pretty good. All right, let's get into it. So like most 20-somethings, mid-20-somethings, I'm looking at going back to school. Now this round is going to be a little bit different because I have to pay for it myself unless somebody else wants to graciously, intervene there. Shout out to mom and dad for those first 4 years of college because it's really expensive. I decided to enroll in a school into the most competitive degree plan that they offer. And that's got me to thinking about dropping classes, which was a luxury I didn't have in my undergraduate year because if you know anything about my father, you know that he constantly reminded me that I only had 4 years of his money and I better be walking across that stage in May. Those were scary times. Dropping a class at this point with this degree that I'm looking to pursue, it's not going to work for me, bud. Mainly because at this point, they're all required courses. Now, it got me to thinking again about, the possibility of retaking a class and made me a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous. And it reminded me of when I had to retake a class and I was a little anxious and nervous. And then I thought, Dom, that's kind of stupid, don't you think? Like, you already have a jump start on the class. What's going on? Now, if you know anything about college, unless you're Dr. Ruben A. Buford May, shout out to Stuck, you don't really change the class around. There are cliff notes for days. There are websites for days where you can get all the material for the test. You know the material, you know the schedule, you kind of know the flow of the class. So even if you were to retake it, you really do have a little bit of knowledge because let's be real, you get about 2-3 weeks in before you decide to drop the class before that deadline. Now this got me to thinking about the NBA, mainly because I needed a break from applying and looking for scholarships and I flipped and saw the NBA Finals were on. Yo, people really think Toronto's gonna beat Golden State and I'm seeing that all over Twitter. I was like, why do y'all think that Golden State's gonna lose? They've done this before. Not just before, but they've done it 4 times before this year in a row. They've seen this. And then it dawned on me. They faced the beast. And all of these classes to me are beasts. And who I mean by the beast is LeBron James. So we're going to go ahead and blame LeBron James here. The Warriors are going to win the 2019 NBA Finals and it's LeBron James's fault. They've seen the master, y'all. They've seen the master test. Anything about LeBron tells you that, his approach doesn't necessarily change, but his skill set does. He keeps improving every year. He's hard to handle, but he's not unbeatable. And the Warriors have proved that 3 out of the 4 years that they took them on. Now, like dropping a class and having to retake it, there's a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of intimidation, and there's a healthy respect and fear. And that's something that Golden State always brought in their approach to playing LeBron. It didn't matter. Out of all of those years, you knew the same result was coming. You knew that LeBron was going to take Cleveland and whatever lackluster team he had to the finals to meet Golden State. But you knew that when you got there, it was going to be a toss-up. You didn't know what was going to happen. That kind of intimidates you a little bit. So what do you do? What's your approach? Well, like school, you study your opponent, you study your enemy, you study that course relentlessly. They studied LeBron relentlessly. They knew his weaknesses, they knew his strengths, they knew his ins and outs, how he approached the game. And from that, they built a strategy that's worked for them, that's transcended throughout the season and is transcended throughout the finals. And that's the offensive approach that every NBA team is looking to emulate. Was that the right word? Can we get a definition? Like a definition of the day thing? That'd be kind of dope. But they had an approach. Now, if you pay attention to the Warriors, you'll learn something that throughout all of these playoffs, no player is completely consistent. Draymond Green is definitely the most consistent and the most consistently improved. But no player is completely consistent. So if Curry's having an off year, Klay's going to come in and he's going to pick up the slack. When KD came in, he took some of the pressure off of Curry and that created a new bubble right there. And then you got Klay who, like I said, he just picks up the slack. The point doesn't change. They've seen this. Not only have they had a jump start, but they've prepared for this and they approach it differently. They know their environment, something that Toronto doesn't know. They haven't been in the finals since when? I don't know, but I'm going to put it somewhere. They know the mentality that it takes. They know the toil on the body. Even with all of these injuries, to be down 3-1, and like Draymond said, heck, we can go make our own history. They've seen it before.
I've been on the wrong side of 3-1 before, so why not make our own history?
They know what it takes to be there. You think some young guns are just going to walk up and just run up and strut their stuff and think that they're going to take it on? Now, Kawhi's a little bit different. He's been there, done that, but an entire team. This is an entire team effort on the Toronto part, whereas Golden State can have one player kind of hit it out the park and be okay. With all of that being said, let's take it back to retaking a course. At one point, you're going to have to reach the final exam, and that's going to determine whether you end in success, you've overtaken the beast, or you're going to have to take it again. Now, for the Warriors, this hasn't been a Kevin Hart night school kind of trip.
I failed, but I'm going to take it again.
This is nothing new for them. They've seen almost every strange outcome possible just going through this finals process, going through the playoff process, and it's nothing that they can't handle. The other thing that you do learn, taking a class again, even though you're anxious about it, you know how to work that in your favor. You know how to work anxiety in your favor. When you've seen something like this happen, you know how to maintain your cool and use the tools necessary to move on to the next level. And that's just exactly what this is for Golden State. It's the next level. They've seen the beast. They've seen every possible outcome from that beast. And now they're ready to take on the next level. So no offense to Toronto. They've made it here. They've seen the process. They're getting an inkling of what's going on and what they're doing. But, you know, like most of us, we can get a little bit ahead of ourselves, okay? But if I can reiterate anything, it's that beginner's luck might be prevalent in certain cases, but these boys are beasts. They've been in their prime for 5 years. And experience with that kind of mentality and that kind of work that they're putting out, it's game over, man. It was worth the shot. Now, I'm going to leave you with this. 1, shout out to LeBron for consciously preparing the Warriors for the next stage of their journey, dynasty level. The second thing is, in college, they do sections. You know, you got a 101, you got a 102. When you overcome, when you overtake, when you beat, when you graduate, when you move on to the next level in any course, you don't just stop there. You move on to the next level. LeBron's level has ended. The Warriors were in 101 for all that time. Now they're on to 102. But that doesn't mean 101 just disappears. Someone else has to take the course. The Raptors and you have just been schooled. I'm Dominique. I'm way off and I'm way out. Let's see what happens tonight.